Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you being here. This is Osho. If people are happy, nobody can drag them into a war.
So do you, with that, sort of denounce people that are trying to make a better future for themselves as well as for their children and their children and so forth? I'm speaking of people that are active in trying to make a better environment, like Greenpeace, peace movements, people that are working with trying to make a better future in different ways.
I understand. Just
This is a little bit of a different angle of Osho than I'm used to. Usually it's really straight on his head. It's kind of cool to see.
think for 5,000 years, this is what every generation has been doing. The generation that has preceded us was thinking about us and making a better future. Our present was their future, what they have done. In 5,000 years, continuously, every generation, every father, every mother, every teacher, every priest is creating a better future. And the total result seems to be just the opposite. Two things happened. They destroyed their present, they sacrificed, they thought they are martyrs, they thought they are doing great service to humanity. They were doing great disservice because the time that was given to them, a gift of existence, they wasted. And they have not been able to create a better future. Those 5,000 years should become a lesson. My own understanding is, if you are living your present totally, out of this living will be born the next moment. You have taken care of the next moment by living this moment totally. Just think how logic can lead to foolish attitudes. The father is told that he has to sacrifice his life for the children. His father sacrificed his life for him. Neither he could live, nor he can live, nor his children are going to live, because they will be sacrificing their lives to their children. So everybody is sacrificing to somebody else. Is strange, then who is going to live?
Okay.
So my insistence is live it, and out of your living experience, the future will be born.
I really love this so far. It really reminds me of the video reaction we did on Osho and talking about purpose, and how when you're pursuing purpose, you're always discontent or not happy with where you are in the present moment, because you're always striving for some end result. And I think this is talking from a different perspective, that every generation tried to make the world a better place instead of living in that place in its totality. And we have to ask ourselves, we have to contemplate the question, are we fully present and engaged in what existence really is, which is really this fundamental moment in time. And the future is not real, the past is not real. And so each moment of the now is literally the same moment. And I only preface and emphasize that is because this channel is really about personal growth and spiritual growth. And a lot of times our problems are somewhere outside of our current reality. I'm in a room sitting by myself, recording myself, so I have no problems right now. But because of the way my mind's been conditioned, it can still feel anxious or trepidatious or fearful or uncomfortable because of some other situation that I can ponder and grow anxiety upon. It could be like, well, what if I have to travel today? Am I going to get hit on the road? There's all these uncertainties. But deep down in my current present reality, my body is not in any threat. I'm in a peaceful, safeguarded environment. And so I think we remove ourselves from the present so deeply that we remain so completely unhappy because of the way we use our perception to navigate life. And I love that Osho breaks this down, that fundamentally we're not living our lives. That's not living our lives. Living is fully being hyper-focused on where we exactly are. And so if I'm in this room and I'm recording this video and I'm listening to Osho, but my mind is wandering to other things, it's being bombarded by other things, that's not living in the present moment. That's being grip locked by memory or something else, and it's taking me out from this sacred moment that actually is the only fundamental reality. And the cool thing about the fundamental now is you can create tranquility despite where you're at. If you're going through something right now, probably if you're watching this video, you're not very stressed because you have time to watch it, right? But this is the defining moment. And so if we can use our fundamental chemistry, our brains, our minds, our bodies, emotions, to take care of the now, something that comes at us, we don't take as a threat as easily anymore because we know we're grounded in the now. And we know the only thing that we have to control throughout the day. You can ground back into the reality and not allow the powers of your ego. I use the word ego is the person that we think we are that is constantly threatened by the suffering of reality, all the things that can happen, because there are a lot of things that can happen out there, but it's based upon survival. And the higher self is based upon creativity and love and peace, nourishment, tranquility, bliss. And we can still have the threats around, but not be bogged down by them because we know what we truly are, which is this untainted, higher level self that is not conditioned by reality. We condition reality. We choose how we respond and show up despite whatever comes, whatever noise comes. We can actually have dominion and control over it by allowing it completely and fully without the needing to control any of the chaos out here. I believe there's a coordination out in the universe, out in the cosmos, a coordination that all these things are playing out. And we have a choice. We have a choice of being a victim to those circumstances or just knowing wholeheartedly that it's all in divine orchestration, divine favor, and it's all a wild ride. And that's the juice of life. If we're living from the ego, we're going to live from fear, and we're going to cut ourselves off from these higher creative, genius, spontaneous ways, the juiciness of life. We're going to cut ourselves off from that because we are in fight and flight mode. We don't have the capacity. The body, when you're in fight or flight, your body will shut down your bowel systems. It'll do other things biologically to help you stay away from threat. And so you also segregate and cut off certain things mentally. Your mental faculties shut down. So by coming from the higher self, you're more tapped into, you could say, the umbilical cord of life. You have that direct connection to your higher intelligence, the God within, the divinity within you. And you can be this ever-present, spontaneous, creative, blissful being. I am not saying that I do it all the time, But the reason that we spend time on this channel to watch great speakers like Osho is because he reminds us, he reorganizes us. We're focusing on him to remind us of the power structure within ourselves. And that's called self-empowerment. You self-empower yourself to know that all this noise of reality is bullshit. Even death itself is bullshit. It cannot inherently ruin you. It's a paradox, right? We think the ending of life is the ending of us. Who really knows, right? We can all hypothesize. But the point is that that's the person that I want to become. The person that is unfazed by 99% of things that happen out here, and to stop feeling threatened in life. To know that I have this power in me that does not have to be tainted by any circumstance that's outside of my own self. And that I can always stay in this creative, genius, spontaneous place, because that's the true us. And it's the ego that we built and self-identified with that talks about all of our problems, all of our phobias, all of our fears. And so we need to not allow the ego to rule ourselves. We need to supersede the ego, rise above it, and set into our totality of peace and understanding. Sorry I went on a tangent there. I felt inspired to do so. I hope some of that helped you. But back to why what we focus on throughout the day, like Osho, will change us, will imprint onto us, will program us. And if we listen to the social media, the news, the timelines, we're going to get a lot of that more doom and gloom narrative. All people's problems, they're airing them out. They're a victim to their circumstances. They have no personal power within themselves. They feel grip locked by their circumstances, a slavery to their life. And that's going to diminish. You're going to get programmed by that. It's going to, through osmosis, get inside you. And so that's why on this channel, we spend so much time taking time, even when we don't feel like it. We don't feel like upgrading ourselves every day. We don't feel like watching nourishing stuff to nourish to be medicine for our mindsets, because we'd rather be lazy. We all have a large degree of laziness in us. And the laziness is it's really ego. It's just that lower self. And the muse in you, the one who searches and seeks and looks for that enrichment, is the one that we have to allow to play through us. That is your tune. That is your sacred dance in life. So just be reminded that there's a coordination out there in the universe that is taking care of you, that is wrapping its arms around you, and you need to sit in that level of peace, or what I call faith, in knowing that it's all working out favorably. That no matter what it looks like on the surface, bad or good, good or bad, wrong or right, it's always right. So the more we self-empower that we can't play the victim, that is there to orchestrate a growth in us, it's a fertilizer. Shit is fertilizer. Sometimes we got to go through shit to grow. It's a sucky process, but that's just how the human body works. You know, if you want to get big muscles. By the way, I'm coming out with an online fitness course. I will definitely drop the link when it's available. But my point is that the pain that's required to build the body to a superhero ideal body is very painful. There's not a bone in my body that really wants to do it. But I know that pain is leading to tremendous growth, and that this is my divine temple. And I'm going to try to organize it and take care of it to my best of my capability. And that's all I want to inspire here on my channel, is that same degree of wanting to take care of ourselves and having, this is a bad word, pride in ourselves, because we know where we come from. We know what we're connected to.
If your living moment is of tremendous beauty and ecstasy, naturally you are creating future without any effort
Woo!
to create it. But if you are sacrificing to your children's future, deep down you will be resentful.
That's such a good point.
Because your life is being destroyed by these children. Future living moment,
Let's listen to this again.
the future will be born. If your living moment is of tremendous beauty and ecstasy, naturally you are creating future without any effort to create it.
So beautiful.
But if you are sacrificing to your children's future, deep down you will be resentful. Because your life is being destroyed by these children. And these children will be resentful towards you. Because you were continuously bragging that you sacrificed your life.
How many parents do that?
And you will want that children should feel obliged to you.
Yep.
You would like your children to sacrifice their youth to your old age because you sacrificed. This is so stupid.
I can agree on that.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about, from what I understand, is the more traditional family relations, both in Christianity and probably also
Everywhere.
in other religions. But let me put it a little differently. More and more people in Europe as well as in the United States, I think, are getting very worried about the situation, the political situation with atomic threats, nuclear war threat, the environment, pollution, things like that, which is not
Sounds like our contemporary era as well.
the same sacrifice from father to son and from father to son that we're now talking about. It's a different thing.
Understand, it is just superficially different. Basically, it is the same. The question of nuclear weapons should not be thought as a future problem. It is in the present moment.
Yeah.
No, so I'm not saying that you have to think about future. It is a living reality.
You know, the more I contemplate this, thinking about the future, you know, we've all been conditioned to, honestly, to think a lot about the future. But, you know, I think that can lead to a lot of dis-ease or disease. Because it's never going to match what you think it should. But if you live in the moment and you take control of the moment, and you have this, you orchestrate the next future moment naturally. You're going to go in the right direction when you take care of the moment. But if you're not taking care of the moment and you're focused on the future, you're sacrificing and not orchestrating things effortlessly and easily as if you were just taking care of the moment. Let's try this week or this month to think about how we can just take care of today and the moment and see that all the other things will orchestrate themselves naturally and organically. Let's try that. Let's just figure out, like, I'm going to take care of my emotional volatility today, my anxiety today. I'm just going to orchestrate in a way that pay it no mind. That's the ego. I can disassociate from those words and phrases and programs and focus in on the ever-present now and knowing that my future is guaranteed. My future is guaranteed. I don't have to sacrifice for it. I just need to be present and it will come.
We are living surrounded by nuclear weapons. So do whatsoever you want to do right now. But your pacifists are thinking about the future. that there should not be a third world war, that nuclear weapons should not be created, is stupid. Again, you are destroying the present moment, and the people who are creating nuclear weapons, their logic is not different from yours. They are also preparing for the future of their people, for the future of their nation. They don't want to be weak, they want to be stronger, they want to remain in a position so that nobody can invade them. The warmongers are thinking of future, and the pacifists are thinking of the future. I am neither a pacifist nor a supporter of war. I am saying let these idiots fight with each other, and humanity should live this moment as joyously as possible.
Bingo.
If
I don't think it's I think it's so understated that if you took this month to just focus on joy in the joy barometer. A barometer is something that measures temperature, right? And like you can measure your joy barometer. Is it low? Is it freezing in here? Or is it at a really all-time high? And I think if we, again, the things that we hyper focus on tend to come into our lives and in our existence. And so what if the fundamental purpose or right for all of us is to implement more joy, ease, lightheartedness, humor, carefree nature, which is the juice of us. You know, when we feel carefree, we're just so confident. We're so spontaneous. We can do anything and everything. We know everything's going to work itself out. So can we adopt more of a carefree, joyous barometer level? Can we make, instead of focusing on our problems and that you have to adult and get everything figured out, and you have to get the square, can we focus in on that and see how that might align you to a different path where things feel more natural to go here? Maybe you have more zeal, zest, and energy to actually do or coordinate something differently because the only thing you focused on was being your highest, best, joyous self. See what happens. If you're in some type of funk or you're down in the pits, or you're in the gutter, like, of course it's not easy to feel joy. And we like to not take personal accountability for this. We blame everything. Death in the family, loss of a job, a friend betrayed us. Of course, these are not easy circumstances, but everyone in humanity has gone through these same things, and we all take them very seriously and very personal. And then we degrade ourselves, degrade our lives, and we lose any meaning within life itself. And that keeps us half-hearted. And half-hearted people are half dead. There's a lot of half-dead people walking this earth right now. And I don't want half-dead people. I want fully alive people. I want people who are ignited and on fire. And you don't have to have some great achievement to feel ignited and on fire. Get that propaganda out of your head. Just by you being this spiritual, energetic vortex of energy, that your juice is your currency of life. So do not cut it off. Expand it.
If we can manage to live in this moment peacefully, joyously, the third world war is not going to happen. We have not done anything about third world war. If people are happy, if people are enjoying, nobody can drag them into a war. War is not a simple phenomenon, it is very complex. People have to be miserable. People have to be in suffering. People have to be sexually repressed. People have to be in every possible way humiliated by poverty, by hunger. Only then you can manage and convince them to destroy each other, because they have nothing to live for. Karl Marx has a beautiful statement in his Communist Manifesto. I don't agree with his communism, but the sentence with which Communist Manifesto ends is tremendously significant. He says, "Proletariat of the world, unite. Because you have nothing to lose."
I don't know what that word means, to be honest. And Karl Marx was obviously a great thinker. He had his own purview on how humanity should be structured and ran, to which I wholeheartedly disagree with as well. But it's good to read people's philosophies. And I guarantee out of a whole book, there has to be some good ideas of his creativity. So I think it's bold that Osho, because he's a bold, wild man, which we love him for, can quote Karl Marx in a positive way. I think that takes balls, and I think that takes guts.
And everything to gain. Fight. When you don't have anything to lose, fighting becomes easier. In fact, there is a possibility you may win, you may have the whole world. But if people are having a beautiful life, a loving life, you cannot convince them that they have to destroy other countries, other...
Isn't that the truth? I think Sadhguru says that people, when you create a good environment, people are beautiful people. When you create a negative environment, people are very nasty. And so what Osho's saying the same thing here too, that there's a culture or community of people that are in this joyous, easy, creative, sparking, energetic field. Nothing's going to get them, nothing's going to kick them off that. But if they're destructive, chaotic, nasty, there's just going to be another group of nasty people with them. And so our environments are very essential to how people behave. And that's why he's telling you that we need to modify our now, which is our own personal environment, and make it beautiful. Despite whatever stories we've told ourselves, whatever conditions that we feel are overwhelming us and that we can't behave a certain way, he's saying, cut off the noise, cut off the illusion. This is your path to freeing yourself from all of that.
Other people, you cannot do that. It is impossible. Secondly, if people are not sexually repressed, which is the base of all wars.
Bold statement.
Every soldier has to be sexually repressed. It is sexual repression which becomes violence. The soldiers and the monks in the monasteries are not in different boats, and both have been calamities to humanity.
I really love Osho and his ability to talk about sexuality and spirituality, because in cultures all across the globe, sexuality is in the gutter. Okay, it's shameful to even talk about. It's sin to even partake in, and spirituality is in the clouds. It's unobtainable. So what Osho does is he brings spirituality back to possibility. He takes sexuality out of the gutter, And he makes it one and the same, that they both have equal measure. And this is where we did a video on Osho where he talked about he was a spiritual playboy. And I even said that I think the greatest spiritual act is sex because it actually creates life. So whatever dogma we have around this is our own psychosis and neuroticism around that we are sexual, energetic beings. And Osho is bringing this to our awareness, whether we want to hear it or not. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. And so I don't know his full philosophy, but I'm open ears. I want to hear more of it.
The monks have been going on crusades, killing in the name of religion. And the soldiers in the name of nation, in the name of culture. But the basic thing is that if they both are allowed to live their sexual life in a relaxed way, the monk will forget all about the Catholic Church and the Polak Pope, and he will say, let them go to hell, I am not going for crusade. He has a girlfriend and every moment is so beautiful. You cannot send my people to fight for anything. They will say no.
I don't know his full complex philosophy. He's surmised it in a certain way here. But just like anything, I feel like the delicate balance of life and discipline is essential no matter what category of life that you're in. And if we, let's say for sake of argument, you like alcohol. I've never drank in my life, but I don't think there's a problem with drinking. I don't promote it, but let's say you like alcohol. Now, obviously, if you just abundantly partake in having as much alcohol as you want on any given day, on any given week, on any given month, you are not going to be the best version of yourself. So even with our sexual energy, if we just go off, if we just, take all we want or, have no, it's not going to lead to some powerful space. But yes, we need a freedom and ease with a sexual partner or what, but I think my philosophy is the middle way, is we really think about equilibrium. You don't want too much of anything. Too much of the gym, if I got in there for 6 hours a day and I did cardio for 3 hours and lifted weights for 3 hours, 7 days a week, my body would actually break down. It actually wouldn't rebuild. It'd actually break down. It would be too harmful to my body. So do you see how even lifting weights, there's a certain amount of time, could be just an hour a day or whatever, to get the max benefit from that particular thing. So we don't want people to have I don't think a life of just complete lethargy where, you have love and a girlfriend and nothing more. And we're not, I don't know, it's a paradox because I think man needs to be disciplined deeply. Because we're disciplined mentally through our structures and retaining our joyous state of being. That takes discipline. If we allowed our mind to just be lethargic, it could go to the gutter. So if the brain has to continuously be self-disciplined to take care of itself, wouldn't it make sense that every category of life and how we exist in it needs to have a discipline to it, a sharpness to it, a tooling that we have to chip at every day to remain equalized in ourselves? I don't know. I just don't want to promote a sexual freedom where you have no balance. I think that's degenerate. And I think that we need to really be careful and that. Yeah, but also again, how I express this, our sexual energy is part of our spiritual energy. There's no shame in it. But just like there's no shame in drinking alcohol, but if you become a drunkard and you're blinded by your drunkenness, you've lost sight of what life truly is.
No, because they are enjoying every moment so much Why they should disturb their life and other people's life?
I don't do recreational drugs. I don't do alcohol. I've never had an altered state. And maybe one day, you know, I'll try something down the road just to see what it does to my mind in a controlled environment. I don't know. My point is that these things, all of it, are very slippery slopes. That means you do it once, it's much easier to do it again and again, and then you need more, and then you need more to hit that same release point or experience. And we get lost. It's much harder to pull back from these things the farther we go. So that's why I believe that it's good to have certain boundaries around life itself. Again, if we just go after all of our vices, we become degenerate. But if we, and lethargic and lazy people, but if we want to perform well, let's say you have a martial art and you have a disciplined process at that, we should tackle that. I think life is more about doing the hard stuff rather than the easy stuff. I think a hard, disciplined life leads to structural organization for the organism of us itself to flourish. I love this video by Osho. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Welcome to the community, and I definitely will catch you guys on the next reaction video. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a beautiful day.